This is a video that you've been asking for a long time, all about my journey with HRT, exactly what I take, what the benefits are, what some of the risks are, and why. So let's get into it. Hello, gorgeous girl. Welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to be doing a deep dive into my HRT journey, exactly what I take and why. So if you're new here, hello, I'm Tracy. I'm 49 years old. I'm fully in menopause. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I run a very busy business. So if you want to look and feel your best over 40 or at any age and any stage of life, you are in the right place. I would love it if you would consider subscribing to this channel. It's totally free to do so, and click on that bell so that you always know whenever I've got a brand new video that goes live. Over the last few months, I've been really talking all about perimenopause and menopause. I am currently in menopause myself. There's a debate out there, and I'm going to ask my doctor about this. Is it menopause or postmenopausal? I do not get a period. I have not had a menstrual cycle in now about 16 months. So I am completely done with that stage of my life, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't miss it, but I'm so glad that when I was in perimenopause, I actually started some HRT. So if you don't know what HRT is, let's break it down. HRT is hormone replacement therapy. Unfortunately, for many women, when we get into perimenopause, you kind of don't know what's going on. You feel these changes, and unfortunately for a lot of women, we just think, well, I'm getting older, this is just how it gets, this is just part of aging, and I'm here to take a stand for you and to tell you that it's not. And especially when you have the right care, the right doctors in place, and with supplements, and if you choose to go into an HRT journey, it can really help to remedy your symptoms and make you just feel so much better. As I mentioned, I'm 49, and I had my daughter when I was just 3 months before my 45th birthday. So you better believe I was in the throes of perimenopause. To even add more to that, I had done 4 cycles of IVF. So my hormones, to say that they were taking a hit would be the understatement of the year. And so while I was on IVF, thankfully, due to my healthy lifestyle and always exercising and eating healthy, I was really one of the fortunate ones where I really didn't feel a lot of crazy side effects from the drugs of IVF. But it wasn't until after I had my baby, and like I said, just 3 months before my 45th birthday, about 6 months later, I started feeling like something's not right here. I like to think of my journey in perimenopause before I started HRT as kind of like a journey of the perimenopausal 7 dwarfs. We have tired, we've got flabby, we've got moody, we've got blah, we've got sad, we've got foggy, and frustrated. So what led me to starting an HRT regime was I had a friend who also had 2 children of her own, and all of a sudden she and her husband were just looking so great, so healthy, they were so energetic, they were just really feeling so good. And I heard about it and I was like, whatever they're doing, I want that, because I was just feeling so exhausted. Now, I mentioned this on other videos. I recently did a video all about perimenopause and really clues to know that you're in perimenopause. So if you haven't checked out that video, check that video out next after this one. But like most women, I really didn't know that I was in perimenopause. All I knew was that I had a newborn baby. I was so tired. Like at the time of day when she would wake up from her nap at around like 3 o'clock, I felt like I just wanted to get in bed. I wanted to crawl in bed. I felt dehydrated. I felt dried up. I just felt so blah. But there were other things that were going on that I really didn't even realize were a symptom of my perimenopause. I felt this great sense of lethargy. Like I just wasn't super interested in my life. And when I tell you that is the exact opposite of my personality, you better believe it. I just didn't care. I was so blah about everything. I was like, whatever. And you know, the truth of the matter is I really created a beautiful life, a beautiful business. I have great friends, and none of this happened by accident. I was really conscientious with creating the life that I wanted. And my family and my daughter, that was no different. You know, I got married when I was 40 years old, and I just felt so like, about everything. That's the only way I can describe it. So I knew that something was off. So I went to my regular gynecologist here in Miami, and he did blood work on me, and I just said, you know, something's not right. I understand that I had a baby, and at this point my daughter was about 6 months old, but I was like, it just feels like by now I should start feeling better, but I just feel this like, you know, exhaustion. I'm not sleeping through the night. I just felt so blah, like lethargic, and I really just had this kind of general malaise going on. And he did my blood work and was like, you're normal. But here's something that I really, really want you to hear. And this is one of the first things that really led me to thinking, oh, there must be a different way, which is normal does not mean optimal. And as women, we want to be in an optimal zone. That's what's going to make you feel really good. That's what's going to give you that energy, that vitality, that life force again. And that's what we all want, right? So if you are in a situation where you go to your doctor and they tell you, you know what, nothing's wrong with you, you're normal, find someone else. You know, I shout this from the rooftops on my channel, and I do it for a reason. I am clearly not a doctor. I'm a certified Pilates instructor. I've been a health coach, and I've been in the wellness industry for over 25 years, and I am not a doctor. So you need to advocate for yourself. If you have a doctor telling you, yeah, you're fine, you're normal, find someone else that is going to really do a deeper dive, look at you more holistically, and really determine if HRT would be good for you or not. So I wanted to jump in here really quickly because there was a study that was performed way back in 1991 by the Women's Health Initiative. And in their studies, they determined that hormone replacement therapy could actually increase the risk of cancer for women. So this study, and this is important to note, was really focused on post-menopausal women, which now we know that there is no post-menopause. I mean, that just tells you how old this data is. We're never post-menopausal. You're either perimenopausal or you're menopausal, and that's it. So many people get this wrong because of this old information. Our hormones are always shifting and changing, and that's really important to remember. So this study was really focused on women in menopause. We'll change the language here, and using HRT to prevent osteoporosis, heart disease, and certain types of cancer. One study that you can look into is the KEEP study. That's the Kronos Early Estrogen Prevention Study. And what they found in their research, and this was back in 2012, was that estrogen replacement therapy, in fact, did not increase the risk of breast cancer nor cardiovascular events for recently menopausal healthy women. And then additionally, in 2019, there was the Million Women study, which was conducted in the UK, and they also found that estrogen replacement therapy did not increase the risk of breast cancer. There have been other studies that have been more recent that actually challenge those results that say that HRT may increase your risk of cancer. The bottom line here is you've got to talk to your healthcare provider. That is the most important thing that you can do. They know what they're talking about, especially if you're talking to someone who is really skilled and this is their line of work, right? And they're going to determine based on your health history and your own personal risks if HRT is right for you. Now, I'm not telling you what to do at all. That is not my job. But what I am telling you to do that I think is very important is talk to your healthcare provider, especially if you are feeling symptoms that are making you uncomfortable. That is what you should do, because there are things that you can do to replace those hormones that are rapidly declining so that you feel better. So find a healthcare provider that's going to really help you. Find a doctor that specializes in hormones. I'm going to leave some resources into the description box of this video. In order to get to the description box of the video, all you've got to do is right underneath the title, you're going to see the word more. Just press on more and everything that you need is going to drop down there for you. So I have been on HRT for just about a year and a half. I, found a doctor that really specializes in hormones. A lot of people ask, is she an endocrinologist? She is not. I will leave her information as well into the description box here. And I want you to stay to the end of this video because I've got a very exciting announcement for you as well. So, the first thing that my doctor and I did is we did a full blood panel. And she really, again, was not looking to see if I was normal, but was I in an optimal zone? And of course, it comes as no surprise that I was absolutely not in optimal at all. And when she looked at my blood work and we kind of went over it together, all of the feelings that I was having, disturbed sleeps, kind of feeling moody, that kind of general malaise, that lack of drive in my life, and yeah, we're going to talk about it, sex drive too. She was like, you know, all of this really makes sense based on your blood work. So I was just so happy that I found someone that really understood that, you know, it wasn't just age, there wasn't any problem in my life. It was truly from a hormonal perspective driving everything in my life, and I wanted to feel better, and she got it. So she put me on an HRT regimen, and here's the deal. The most important thing when you're doing HRT is to make sure that you also have a doctor, like I said, that specializes in hormones, specifically female hormones, and that she knows that you're gonna have to test because it's not finite. Your hormones, whether you're on HRT or not, are always gonna be shifting and changing based on so many factors. So about quarterly, I get my blood work done to see, am I still in an optimal zone? Is there anything that needs tweaking or changing or optimizing? So we're gonna talk about exactly which hormones I take, why I take them, and what are some of the benefits that I've been feeling since taking them. First thing that I take is a thyroid medication, okay? So I didn't ever think that I had a thyroid issue, but when I think back, when I was trying to get pregnant, one of the first things they did when I was going through my IVF was they put me on a thyroid medication because they wanted to keep my thyroid a little bit lower so that when I did get pregnant, I wouldn't lose the baby. So they did lower my thyroid. So I was on that for some time. I can't really remember, and again, this is sort of like a symptom of the IVF, was that I was like, was I on the thyroid before I got pregnant or after? I honestly can't really remember. I feel like I was a little bit before, or it was right when I first started. But once I was pregnant, you know, for sure I was on it, and I had to take it every single day. I had no problems with it. You know, that was one of the things they were checking when I was pregnant. But after I had my daughter, you know, I was like, okay, so I was on this thyroid medication. What do I do? And they were like, you just stop it. And I was like, something about that intuitively for me felt wrong. Felt like, wait, I just stop it? But I did. You know, again, I had a newborn baby and I just stopped it. It comes as no surprise that my thyroid was a little bit lower than in an optimal range. So I am on a thyroid medication. This is one of the medications where I have definitely changed that dosage probably about 3 or 4 times since I started working with my doctor. So remember how before I was saying I had low energy, you know, I kind of had a little bit of brain fog going on, and I had that general feeling of malaise. Well, I started taking the thyroid medication, and you know, my doctor kind of calls this like the wake-up pill, and she was not incorrect. It was like I just had a more healthy, sort of sustained energy feeling. I felt like my moods were better. It was kind of like that veil of like that blah feeling I felt before. It was just miraculously lifted. It can help with your clarity, your brain function, and with your weight management as well. Now at that point, I was not, you know, I don't own a scale. Obviously, I teach fitness, I teach weight loss. I was feeling really good post-baby for the most part, but then I did start getting to that point where I was like, something with my workouts just doesn't feel like it's working. I was tweaking, I was shifting, I was challenging myself. And I do think that the thyroid really helped with that because I wasn't getting that result and I just didn't feel like me, if that makes sense. I didn't gain any weight or anything, but I just felt a little less receptive to all the work that I was doing. So I do take a thyroid medication. Like I said, I get my blood work tested about every quarter, and it's really, really helpful. It's been very, very helpful for me in the perspective of my moods, my clarity, my energy, and just my overall well-being. If I had to choose a favorite hormone that I take, it is progesterone. You know, sleep for me is probably one of the most important things. I love sleeping. My husband even calls me sleepy girl because I just love getting a good night's sleep. It changes everything. Who I am when I've had a good night's sleep is like, I don't know her. She is, who is she? She is just living life and happy and loving everyone. So when I was in perimenopause, even as early as in my early 30s, I started remembering that I was getting up really consistently at 2, 3, or 4 o'clock in the morning and just awake. I wasn't stressed out about anything. There wasn't anything going on, but I just could not get my body to have a good, consistent night's sleep. Now, I have a 4-year-old, and she's adorable, but you know what? I have a visitor in my bed every single night. It's annoying, it's a phase, I know she'll grow out of it, but I have one child and I just feel like if she needs me, she's welcome in. But I digress. So sleep for me is a really, really important thing. And especially now as a mom to a toddler, I know that I'm more patient, I'm more loving. So progesterone for me is probably my favorite because one of the main benefits that I see from taking progesterone is that I have beautiful, restful sleep. It's so, so helpful. But sleep is not the only thing that progesterone can help with. So if you're having night sweats in the evening, it might be that your progesterone levels are off. If you're having mood swings or anxiety, progesterone can absolutely help with that. You're gonna notice through this video too, a lot of the things that these hormones really help with, they kind of overlap, but it's like, that's how our hormones are. They all sort of work together to give you that just sort of general well-being, you know, from your health, your heart, your moods, your sleep, all of those things. Here's a fun thing that we're just so lucky to experience as women. So when your progesterone levels are off, not only can you experience vaginal dryness, but you can also experience vaginal atrophy. Isn't that just great? So again, it's just another reason why, like, as women, we sort of get left behind when it comes to medical care. You know, I think that, you know, a lot of our testing in the medical industry, especially here in the United States, at least, it's done, you know, on men, and that's where the focus is. And this is something I would love to see changed. And I think it's just wild because if men experience some of the symptoms that women have historically experienced during perimenopause and menopause, they would have care. They would have, you know, coverage for those things, but we do not, unfortunately. So I'll get off my soapbox here, but it's really, really annoying. So yeah, that could be something that you're experiencing, and it could be as a result of your progesterone levels. And also progesterone can help with your cardiovascular health, which obviously is very, very important, especially as we're getting older. You know, I'm 49 now and I have a toddler. So my goal in life is to live to be well, fit, healthy, and cognitively well until I'm 125 years old. I'm not kidding. I'm totally not kidding. So, you know, progesterone for me, it's like one of my favorite medications that I take right now. I also take DHEA. When I first started working with a hormone specialist, not the doctor that I work with right now, but a more holistic kind of, a lot of supplements, not a doctor, but she put me on a topical DHEA. And I did see some benefits from that, but it wasn't until I started taking DHEA, and there's two ways that I take it, that I really started seeing strong benefits. And that's when I started working with my now hormone specialist doctor. So I actually take a capsule, and I only take it a couple times a week. And here's the thing, this is why you want to work with someone that really knows what she or he is doing, because I started noticing I was getting some like kind of like almost cystic pimples. And I mentioned it to my doctor and I was like, I'm not really sure like what's going on there. But she said, you know what, it might be the DHEA that can be like sort of a side effect from it. So I take a capsule like about 3 times a day. And then there's also like a vaginal, I don't even know what it's called. It's like a compound that you kind of insert, just like a tampon or something like that. I cannot believe I'm talking about this, but you know, we're girls here and I'm going to tell you the truth. But so anyway, I take that and I'm supposed to do it every day. I'd love to tell you that I do it every day. I'm trying to really get regular with all of my HRT stuff. So I'm supposed to take it daily. Do I miss some days? Yes, because again, toddler in the morning, you know, sometimes it's just, I don't have privacy. So sometimes I miss it. But DHEA is super, super beneficial. It can help you with your overall hormonal balance. It can help to increase your libido, which we want that. And especially, you know, research really shows that women, especially in their 40s, our libido takes a nosedive. And it kind of makes sense, right? I feel like in your 40s, it's like you've got a lot more responsibility. You might have teenagers, or, you know, there are a lot of women like myself that are choosing to have children later in life, but you probably also have aging parents. So you've got just so much going on that totally makes sense, right? It can help with your bone health and your mood enhancement, your energy, your vitality, your cognitive function, and also even the health of your skin, which, you know, if you're anything like me, if someone tells me like, your skin is gonna get more glowy and you're gonna look better, I'm like, sign me up. I'm like, yes, I'll take it. So here's the thing, I noticed this was one of the things, especially with the capsule. I reached out to my doctor and I said, you know, it's so funny funny. I feel like it's just like a bit of like a pleasant pill, if you will. You know, I don't feel happier. I've never been on like antidepressants or anything like that, so I can't speak of like what that would feel like. But for me, when I'm consistent with the DHEA, I just have this sort of feeling of like, life is good, I'm good, everything's great, like, and that's really what I want. That's the way I want to operate through life, because the truth is, life is good. If we're healthy and we're living and we have our family and we have our friends, and, you know, even when we do have challenges, which is a part of life, we're still good. We're so privileged, we're so grateful, right? And so I really like that. That just kind of gives me that feeling of just like, I feel good. Okay, and the last one that I started taking probably about 6 months ago is testosterone. So I was doing, prior to that, a topical application of the testosterone. And I know some of you are probably like, testosterone, right? Because we think of like, you know, muscle head dudes like injecting tea, you know, like what that's, you know, are you gonna grow a beard or like become a man, or is it gonna change your voice or whatever? But, you know, the truth is, again, work with a doctor that specializes in this. I take an extremely, extremely low dose of testosterone, and I'm so glad that I do, because one of the biggest benefits that I've noticed is my energy. I feel like I have more sustained energy. I feel like I have more life force in me again. I definitely see that it has helped me with my lean muscle mass. I mean, you know, I'm the kind of person that when I was really in the throes of perimenopause, I was like, I can feel my abs. I can feel them. Like, I do Pilates twice a week. I work out all the time. Like, I live and breathe fitness and wellness. But it was like, there was just kind of this layer of sort of squish over it. And the testosterone really helped to mitigate that. So testosterone can also help with your mood regulation. And again, that's something that's really, really important to me. Again, as someone with a young child and the level of patience that is required for that, you know, if you know, you know, it's really helpful for me to just feel like I have the energy to run around after her. I have the energy to run my life and my business. I actually want to be with my husband. I feel stronger. My muscle strength has improved, and I can feel the effects of my workouts even more from this hormone replacement. So it's really, really been beneficial. It can also help with your bone health and your vaginal health. So, you know, it's not something I think for many women to be afraid of. Again, you have to do your health history. It might not be for everyone, right? And, you know, I have heard, like, if you've got problems or something that's undetected, it could potentially speed that up. But that's why you want to really, really work with a trained professional that really understands that, and that is going to be consistently tracking you, helping you, making sure to guide you through this process. Now, the last hormone that I just started not even a month ago, so, you know, to be continued to tell you what I noticed, but I did start a very, very low dose of estrogen, and it is an actual oral estrogen. So it's a very, very small dose, and I don't know, I don't feel like it's gonna be that beneficial for you to tell you my doses, because every body is different, so that's why I'm not doing it, just, you know, in full transparency. But it is an oral, because I know that there are estrogen patches. When I was in IVF, I had to take some estrogen patch at one point, and after I had my baby, I noticed that my estrogen was really high for some time when I first started working with the first hormone specialist that I worked with. But then when I started working with this doctor, it was actually kind of normal and in the optimal range. But then with time, it kind of dipped a little bit. So we waited on the estrogen, because I know for so many women that can be really controversial. So I'm taking a very, very low dose. It's been just a few weeks, but I started noticing that I was having, like, I don't even know how to describe this, almost like the beginning of a hot flash at night. Not every night, but I would just feel like a warmth. So I'm not one of those like sweaty girls or anything like that, but just that feeling of just like, oh, that's interesting, something sort of happening here. And so when she checked my level, she was like, I think it's time, we'll test it out, we'll see, and then we'll check your blood work again later. So I am on a low dose of oral estrogen. So as I said, that helps with your hot flashes if you're having them, that can help with your vaginal health. But what I really love is it can help with bone loss, preventing bone loss, and your cardiovascular health. And I've heard also specifically when you take oral. So that's really, really important to me. me, especially as we're aging. We want to keep our bones strong. We want to keep our hearts healthy. We want to live a long and beautiful life. And then again, it can help with your cognitive function, your moods, and the health of your brain overall. I just think, again, it's about working with this sort of system together that really makes the biggest difference. So those are the actual hormones that I am replacing in my HRT experience. Again, like I said, I don't want this to become an argument here. I understand for some women, HRT is not for them, but I am definitely someone who, when I tell you that I felt like I got my life back, I'm not exaggerating. I also, even as someone who has 25 years of experience as a health and wellness professional, I was like, is this aging? Am I starting to age? Is this just like going to be a downhill slide? And, I also think it's just really important to, use our voice and to, try things and, with the medical community, get the results that we want. I've talked about this before. I wish that this was covered by insurance. For many women, it's not. And I think that that is something that should be changed. And again, I think that lower income research also shows that lower income women and minority women actually suffer even more from perimenopause and menopause. So that's something, if there's anything that I can do to change that, and even just being this voice here on YouTube, I'm absolutely committed to helping. So there you have it. That's what I'm taking now. I told you I had an exciting announcement. So I've talked to my personal hormone doctor, my specialist that I work with, and she is willing to come on here and to collaborate with me and do a video together. And I'm so, so excited. So I need your help. I need you in the comments to ask what questions you have about HRT, about perimenopause, about menopause. Write them all here into the comments. Let's get active, because I really want you to be able to use her as a resource, and we'll have a really great collaboration together, and I will ask your specific questions in that video, and I'm so excited about it. So that's what I have for you today. Again, I love this community. We are almost 250,000 women strong, and I just cannot thank you enough. I think you're absolutely amazing. You are beautiful. You are worthy of being seen at any age and any stage, and you can always count on me to help. All right. See you next time. Bye.